Today we're taking a first look at the brand new 2023 Transition TransAM. The guys at Transition have a really great attitude, engineered to party. They don't take themselves too seriously, and every Transition I've ridden has been a lot of fun. Sadly, I have never ridden a Transition Hardtail because there hasn't been one in the lineup for years. Well, that changes today. Now, I know nothing about this bike. I got this way before it was announced. I just know it's called the TransAM. I don't even know what color it is in here. So we're going to check it out, and I'm going to give you a fresh look with no preconceived notions because I know absolutely nothing about this bike. I don't know if it's carbon, I don't know if it's metal, I don't know if it's a mullet. I see an assegai. 29-inch assegai in the front. Okay. Well, the assegai should tell us something. I don't think this is a cross-country hardtail. Oh, she's metal. I like metal bikes. Ooh, that looks like steel, just like the last one. We'll grab a magnet, see if it sticks. Oh, it's steel. Awesome. Way to go, Transition. Keeping it old school. I'd be curious, are you guys more of a steel, carbon, aluminum, or titanium fan? What's your jam for hardtails? I see an NX derailleur on a steel frame. I like seeing that. A lot of times steel frames are saved for the super bougie builds. This actually looks like it might be affordable. Fingers crossed. Transition's motto is party in the woods, and they had their motto way before mine. And these guys are all about partying and having fun. I think this is going to be a blast. Wow. I'm seeing some cool stuff. Let's get it on the stand. Here she is, all built up. It's been 7 years since Transitions had the TransAM in their lineup, and I'm so glad to see it back. This is their steel 2929 hardtail. I wonder if the AM of TransAM is kind of an all-mountain, do-everything bike. It kind of looks like it. It doesn't look overly burly and just straight up enduro style, but it's definitely not like a really lightweight trail bike. It's kind of the type of bike that I think of to do just about anything. It looks up for anything. Final weight came in at 33.3 pounds with pedals. That's higher than we're used to seeing, and with a steel frame, you are going to have a slight weight penalty. I'm going to say anywhere from ½ pound to 2 pounds, depending on which aluminum frame you're comparing it to and which steel frame. But we've also got sliding dropouts. That's always a little bit heavier. You've got a little bit extra hardware there. But man, I'll take that extra weight for the ride quality of a good steel frame and the sliding dropouts. Let's hope this does have that great ride quality. Welds and build construction look absolutely beautiful. Another really cool thing about this bike is it's available as a frame only for $799. And that is right where we want to see steel frames. We've got monitored standards, we've got a threaded bottom bracket, boost in the rear, sliding dropouts, lots and lots of cool stuff going on here. One thing I will mention, it's a 30.9 seat tube. I get why we do that with steel because a bigger 31.6 weighs more and it adds a little bit of stiffness to the frame. But the downside is if you are transferring parts from another bike and you have a 31.6 dropper, it's not going to fit in this frame. You're going to have to order a 30.9. Most people don't have 30.9 droppers. I've been seeing more and more companies moving to the 31.6, even on steel and titanium frames, for that slight weight penalty, but for the compatibility, because I'd say 95% of bikes coming out these days are 31.6 dropper. It comes with great tires. We've got an assegai up front, DHR2 in the rear, both in Exo Plus. I have a feeling this thing's going to want to shred. It looks like a shredder, especially considering the 150 mil fork. Every Transition I've ridden had a lot of party in it, and it was the type of bike that just makes you fall back in love with mountain biking. There's a fun element to it that's not just the best spec for the price. There's something really cool about how their bikes ride. I'm excited to see if this bike has that flavor as well. Let's get this thing on the geometer and see what the actual geometry looks like. Rear center, 425, and it's not even slid all the way forward. Actual chainstay right now, 427. Woo, that's going to be fun. Short rear end, long front end. Let's look how long the front is on the reach. Reach is 462. Impressive. Front center is 785. Wheelbase looks about 1208. Seat tube is a beautiful 395. Super short seat tube. I love that. Bottom bracket drop is 50 millimeters. So not super low and planted, not super high. I'll bet this thing is going to be playful with that slightly taller bottom bracket. Let's take a look at stack. Stack is 642, nice and tall. Not hard to do with the 150 mil fork. That always brings the stack up. Ooh, this is going to be fun to ride. Actual seat tube angle. Ooh, 77.2. Let's see what the head angle is. 64.1. I've got some assumptions about how this bike is going to ride, and I think I'm going to love it. We'll see. So those are some exciting geo numbers. I think this bike is going to want to party. Why do I measure the geo numbers? Because a lot of companies' actual geometry is very different than their stated geo. Transition, spot on. Right on the money with what their geo chart says. On this size medium, we've got a 180 mil dropper. And on the large and extra large, they've got a 210 mil dropper. Transition's full of bike riders, not a bunch of bean counters and investors who say, how can we save 0.2% on our next frame? They're guys that are saying, can we run a longer dropper and get that seat even more out of the way? That's why we see things like this. We've got a beautiful steel frame with external routing everywhere. I absolutely love that. This also has a UDH. That's really cool to see. That means you could run transmission on this, and it means if you do mess up your derailleur hanger, you could get it at any shop. Another testament that this is run by riders, it comes with a 200 mil front rotor and a 180 rear. That's what we're doing these days, and it seems like an easy thing that they could save a couple bucks and you wouldn't know the difference if they ran smaller rotors. But it seems like whoever put this together, the product manager and whoever decided this build, said, I want to be able to take one of those off the floor and go ride it and have a blast and not have to tweak anything. And I think they've done a fantastic job on this build. Alloy bars, alloy race face affect stem, the Marzocchi Z2, fantastic performance for the price. You can pay double for bars, stem, and fork and get maybe a 15% performance increase. I think they've really nailed the sweet spot of performance and value for what you get with this. Before Transition told me the sale price on this, I was thinking it was going to be closer to the $3,000 to $3,400 range. You know, steel frame, Marzocchi Bomber Z2, 180 mil, one-up dropper, just nice stuff, not bargain basement stuff. Yeah, NX isn't the sexiest. You could run NX for a year, no problems, and it's going to hold up just fine if you take care of it. Are there sexiest things? Sure, but guess what? Drivetrain is the best place to save money. So that price gets you a great fork, a great dropper, a great frame, and great cranks, great bottom bracket, decent brakes. You know, if you wanted to make this a bling bike, I'd probably swap out bling wheels, maybe the brakes, these might do it for you, and maybe like an Axis wireless drivetrain. All the core important ingredients, frame, dropper, fork, are fantastic. And those are the expensive things that cost a ton to upgrade down the road. Swapping out a derailleur or a shifter is no big deal compared to a new fork or a new dropper. It always blows my mind how many people will save $200 or $300 on a brand new bike, but it comes with a garbage fork. And then 2 months later, they're spending $900 on a fork, which makes it way more expensive than if you just bought a bike with the good fork and the good dropper anyway from the get-go. I hope this thing isn't overbuilt and overly stiff like a Chromag or some of those Huck bikes that are just overbuilt so that they never have a warranty issue. I hope this capitalizes on the great ride feel that you can get out of steel if done right. Transition's been making bikes for a long time by real riders, so I expect it to ride pretty good. I'm excited to see what it's like. How about you? What's your favorite feature about this bike? What gets you the most excited? I'd love to hear in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. There's a party in the mountains, and you're invited.